Hello, Year 11. This is Learning Outcome 3 for Nutrition, and you are writing an assignment about the effects of a poor diet on sports performance and sports participation. So, the first thing you need to know to go into your assignment is what malnutrition means. It's a condition that results from an unbalanced diet in which some nutrients are lacking, missing, taken in excess, or taken in the wrong proportions. Basically, malnutrition means poor nutrition. And it means that you're not getting enough nutrients, so undernutrition, or it means that you're getting more nutrients than you need. So that information is going to go into your assignment, and then you need to add to it. And the best place to find out information about malnutrition is the NHS website. So search for NHS malnutrition, find out what the signs and symptoms are here in your work, find out what they are on the website and put them into your work. So you're going to need to add more information about what malnutrition is, what it looks like, how someone might know they've got it, and how it can be treated. That's what you need to do to get to an MB3 level. Okay, we're now going to learn about overeating, undereating, and dehydration. Those are the next 3 sections of your assignment. So overeating is a disorder that can affect physical health and can cause mental and emotional stress. It affects performance and participation because overeating damages parts of your body. People overeat for a number of reasons. They're bored, they've got nothing to do, their mood, they might be angry, depression, sadness, disappointed, needing to be cheered up. They might just binge in the afternoon and they just overeat too many calories, and that has a negative effect on their health and their body weight. So it's going to cause weight gain, obesity, loss of self-confidence and self-esteem, and illness such as heart disease and diabetes. So you're going to make sure you write that information down on your assignment. I don't want to see any bullet points, so you're going to need to add linking words in to make sure it reads properly. And then let's move on. So we now need to look at, move me out the way, the effect that overeating has on sports performance and participation. So there are 4 health effects that you're going to write about, but you must, I cannot stress this enough, you must link it to sport. Okay? So if you overeat, you are going to have, the first one, lower fitness levels. You're going to have limited cardiovascular endurance, which will make it harder to perform over a long period of time. So for example, a marathon runner will find it harder if they are overweight or obese, because they will not be able to keep going as long as someone who has a healthy weight. Limited flexibility, making it harder for athletes to use a full range of movement. Limited speed and power, making it harder. Why? You tell me. Why would someone who is overweight or obese find it hard to generate speed and power compared to someone who is a normal weight? And can you link it to sport? Next one, anxiety and loss of confidence. Being overweight or obese will mean that's your sentence starter, that someone would stop socializing. They might be self-conscious about how they look. They may not want to leave the house. How is this going to affect their participation in sport? What will they not do, maybe? And give me an example. Illness. Being overweight or obese will mean that you are more likely to have an illness. And there's a range of illnesses that come from obesity. Increased risk of heart disease, increased risk of heart attack, increased blood pressure, and increased chance of developing diabetes. Choose one of these, research it on the internet, work out what the signs and symptoms are, and find out how this will affect their participation in sport. And also, illness Whilst they're taking part, during participation, food takes 3 hours to digest, and you should not exercise on a full stomach because you would feel bloated and probably a little bit sick. So how is this going to reduce your performance? If you had a massive meal and then went straight out to play a football game, is this going to reduce your performance? How? How are you going to feel? Give me football as an example and write this information down. Remember, I can't give you the marks unless you put the information down. So the more you put down, the more marks you can potentially get. Next one is under eating. So eating too little can also cause problems for you, but especially athletes, they don't have the right type of amount of nutrients. Athletes use up more calories. We know this. They're more active than people who are not top level athletes. Their muscles need more energy. Undereating can affect sports performance and cause serious health risks. So that's your introduction to undereating and the effects of undereating. There's 5 of them this time. So we're going to have less energy, weakening of our muscles and bones, impaired concentration, which means lowered concentration, development of eating disorders, and illness. So you're going to pause the screen and you're going to write about each column going down in full sentences. I don't want to see any bullet points, and you must link it to sport. Okay? And the last section is dehydration. Dehydration means an excessive loss of body water. That's our definition. It occurs in sport when sweat loss is higher than fluid intake. It can limit our performance in sport because it can make us thirsty, give us a headache, give difficulty in concentrating, and cause dizziness. Now, drinking enough water is vital to prevent dehydration. So I want you to research online how many litres of water is recommended to drink each day. Now, this information is your introduction to dehydration in your assignment. And I am now going to play you a little video which will give you a bit more information.
Exercising without adequate fluid balance and replacement can lead to dehydration, and serious side effects may prevent athletes from participating in practice or games. Dehydration can occur when sweat losses are greater than fluid intake during an exercise bout. Common signs of dehydration are thirst, headache, difficulty concentrating, or dizziness, making prompt rehydration vital. If you begin to feel dehydrated, alert a member of the sports medicine team, then find a cool spot in the shade or air conditioning. Drink plenty of clear fluids like water, electrolyte sport drinks, or pickle juice, and continue drinking until you are rehydrated. To avoid dehydration, drink plenty of fluids throughout the day, especially around exercise or in excessive heat.
Okay, so what are the effects of dehydration on performance and participation? Right. First of all, you're going to overheat. And overheating is going to lead to heat stroke. See this person here? Passed out on the floor? Heat stroke. Overheated completely. Next up, you're going to have poor concentration because you're dehydrated and your brain is going to struggle to focus on things. You are also going to get tired more quickly. And, I mean, this is not a great picture, is it? But you may become unwell. For example, you may vomit. So here are the 4 things that you need to write about. So you can overheat, which leads to heat stroke. So the beginning sentence is going to go, when you are dehydrated, you can overheat, which can lead to heat stroke. Then you're going to tell me that the body temperature can get dangerously high. Symptoms that the athlete might experience are confusion, agitation. They might stop sweating because there's no water left to sweat, and maybe go into a coma. The treatment for overheating is to cool down, possibly go to hospital, and of course drink lots of water. So now you need to work out, how is this going to reduce performance? And give me a sporting example. So pick a sport. Tell me what might happen to a performer if they were overheating in that sport. Your concentration becomes impaired. Impaired is just a posh word for poor. Okay? When you are dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. It's got less water in it. It's more viscous. And that's going to slow down the flow of blood, which means you'll get less blood flow to your brain and you're going to have a slower reaction time. This is going to affect your decision making. So think about a sport, for example, 100-meter sprint, tennis, maybe. How is a slower reaction time, because your concentration's impaired, going to reduce performance? Okay, next up, you are going to be tired more quickly if you are dehydrated. Okay, because your body's trying to pump this thick, sludgy blood around your body, and the priority is to get the blood to your brain, which means your muscles are going to suffer, they're going to get tired, fatigue, they're going to have cramp. How is this going to reduce your performance? And give me an example. And finally, you might become ill whilst taking part. You might vomit because your body functions slow down, which can lead to an upset stomach and vomiting as you become ill. So let's just refocus on this. The focus here in this assignment is the effect that overeating, undereating, and dehydration has on your sports performance and participation, not the health effects of overeating and undereating. So you're going to tell me what they are, but you must link them to sport. That's the difference between an NB1 level and an NB3 level. So the example I'd like to give you is this structure here, 5 points in each paragraph. Being overweight or obese will mean that, ... carry on. This is because this will affect their participation, because this will affect their performance, because, and a sporting example. If you can follow this structure the whole way through, you will be working to a high NB3 level, if not top marks. Let's read my example now. Being overweight or obese will mean that a person has limited cardiovascular fitness. So that's the health effect I'm writing about at the moment. This is because their body is carrying a lot of excess weight and there is a lot of strain on their heart and lungs to supply the body with oxygen. This will affect their participation in sport because they may get out of breath quickly. This will affect their performance because they won't have the stamina to keep going and they may give up. A sporting example is long distance running. Someone who is obese will find it harder to run for a long distance than someone who is a healthy weight due to the limited cardiovascular fitness. So I've turned it all the way back to the beginning, brought it all in together.